The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. At that time Jesus said to his disciples, "Now I am going to him who sent me. Yet none of you asks me, 'Where are you going?' But because I have said these things to you, sorrow has filled your hearts. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is to your advantage that I go away. For if I do not go away, the counsel will not come to you. But if I go, I will send him to you. And when he comes, he will convince the world of sin, and of righteousness, and of judgment. Of sin because they do not believe in me, of righteousness because I go to the Father, and you will see me no more. Of judgment because the ruler of this world is judged." The Gospel of the Lord. Well, John continues to ramble on about the essence and the mystery of God's love for us. Ramble, yes, because sometimes we can get lost in the themes. Today he's preparing us for Pentecost. I'm going so that the counselor may come. My closest personal experience of what this is like, not a spiritual experience, but a human experience, would be the death of my mother. It was only when my mother died that I grew up in a particular way. Up until then, even though my mother was old, and certainly the last few weeks was very sickly, I still believed that she was able to do things, and she was the person I could go to and talk to and give me consolation in her earthly form. Once she died, and it took months, sometimes years, for me to realize that things were very different now. I was no longer the boy, or the child, or the young man, or the son. I was now the man who now had to take charge, in a sense, of my own destiny. I could no longer rely on my mother to bail me out, and I'm talking about emotionally. Here we have a very similar way. It's only when Jesus goes do they realize the magnificence and the essence of who Jesus was. Only when my mother died did I realize the essence of my mother. And motherhood took on a whole new meaning. Jesus had to go if we had to learn to live with the Holy Spirit. It's simply the journey of life. When one thing goes, something new comes, and unless we embrace it, we are lost in it. Well, yes, I'm going to talk about the lockdown. Unless we embrace this lockdown and all the mysteries and the sadness and the awkwardness and the gloom and doom of it, unless we do all those things as they had to do, the apostles, and accepting all the mystery and the gloom and doom of not having Jesus walk with them, until they were able to accept that and move on, they were lost. Maybe part of our anxiety and stress in lockdown is that we haven't truly accepted it for what it is, and we're not prepared to move on. Crazy, isn't it? But he talks to us here about three things: of righteousness, and of judgment, and of belief. Oh no, yes, sin, righteousness, and judgment. Sin. He said to us, because you do not believe in me, that's why we're still wallowing in this guilt thing with our sin. And we don't remember that when we go to confession, the sin is gone. So we wallow in our sinfulness and the burdens that our sin holds on us because we're simply not believing in Jesus. Crazy truth. Of righteousness, because he was going to go to the Father. So he was the righteous one. Do we believe that he was the righteous one? Do we believe that he is the Son of the Father? That he had to go, that it was the right thing for him to do, so the Spirit could come? And of judgment, because the ruler of this world is judged. Why don't we just leave the judgment of our leaders and our world leaders to God? Imagine how we could live if we didn't live with the burden of judgment. Judging this person against another, who's right, who's wrong. And if we just lived our lives in a whole new way, I know this is idealistic, but we've got time to be idealistic and dream. Why not? If we're going to have a new world, if we're going to have a new existence, dreaming of a life without our parents is sad but necessary. Dreaming of a life without Jesus in human form is sad but reality. Dreaming about life after lockdown in a totally new, different way is sad but reality. Today, as we come before the Eucharist, another mystery. Let us know that we dwell in a love mystery that is beyond our knowing. And when we accept it with all its pros and cons, we can be revitalized, and we can relive the essence of the love that God has for us. Amen.